Говорит Москва.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's WolfyNotCool. Now, before we go down towards the building that collapsed, I am definitely going to be taking care of my first year. Collected some ice, came back, made a little shelter just outside the free city, and we're just gonna drink up, to be honest. Let's just drink up to as much as we can and see what we can cook. Now, I do have this available to us, so I might as well cook it. Gives us energetic, which is nice.
Говорит Москва.
So, yeah. Alright, we got the food all sorted out. Let's go ahead and go to sleep, and then we can actually get some energy back. Now that we have our energy back, just a quick chomp on that delicious dumpling we just made. Rice bun, I mean. Alright. And, yeah, I think that's enough for us to just quickly go there and figure out what's going on. So wish me luck, fellas. We'll come back and cook more. We got our HP as well. Because we got strapping lad on. That's nice. We're getting there, boys. We're getting there. Now, entering the intact house, we discovered that the radiation is also pretty strong down here. So let's go ahead and start our quest. Follow Mother's request, and gonna be interesting. Steel piping was sticking out of the pile, and the corridor beyond was blocked by a cracked flooring slab from a floor higher up. A large hole gaped in the ceiling above me. I shone my flashlight up and could make out the cracked ceiling of what must have been the 5th floor. Similar cracks snaked along the plaster on the 3rd floor. The rubble was more imposing than I'd expected. It was going to take me several hours to clear a patch using a crowbar or a shovel. That was being optimistic. I surveyed the cracked walls distrustfully. The load-bearing wall behind the rubble was missing. I have to work very carefully if I don't want the building caving in on my head. Over 3 hours passed before I managed to get past the barrier. The muscles in my arms was aching with fatigue. I'm in a hallway with broken concrete piled up half a meter high. There are 3 apartments here. One of the doors is open. Maybe Jenna was here. Maybe he still is. Searched the apartment. Found Jenna's body in the kitchen. Poor kid. Chunks from the walls and ceilings were piled on his torso. Listened and heard a low whistling sound. He was breathing. The kid was still alive. I need to get him out of the rubble and look him over as soon as possible. I sat the flashlight down and started lifting rubble off his body. Not even a minute had passed when a muffled rustling came from the corridor, and a lynx scurried into the kitchen. The noise must have drawn its attention when I was clearing the blockage in the stairwell. The lynx had definitely been exposed to radiation. It was unnaturally large, and it had green swellings on the bald spots of its body. Let's get on and shoot this thing. The lynx looked at me appraisingly. Then it turned down towards Jenna and dropped closer to the ground. I'm holding a gun, and the lynx doesn't even see me as a threat. This isn't the first time I've seen this. Predators exposed to radiation seem to have lost all fear. They're like rabid dogs. Their instincts for self-preservation has been suppressed. Now their primary instinct is hunger. I am also gonna bring in... Should I get the... I'm getting the crossbow in. I think that should be enough. Now, defensively, I would want to move here. Get a poison shot off. Maybe just 2 shots. Can he do a difference? Maybe. Hopefully not die. There you go. Perfect. The lynx was dead. When the lynx was dead, I dragged the heavy carcass into a corner and got back to work. Jenna was mumbling something and weakly pushing away at the air with his hands. I shoved the largest piece aside and saw a sledgehammer. Strange. I got Jenna out and gently carried him into the room and laid him on a small couch. His left leg was only badly bruised, but his right shin bone was definitely broken. Jenna wouldn't be walking for the next few months. He was a good-looking kid. He had an intelligent face, freckles, and he was really young, no more than 16. I fashioned a splint for his leg. Jenna's eyes opened slightly. Thirsty, he says. Give him some water and some food. Jenna perked up a little after drinking some water. He even tried to eat something. Lie down and don't move, I told him. Awfully energetic for somebody who's been trapped under rubble for a day. Your right leg tells a different story, though, and you've probably swallowed some radioactive dust. That sucks, Jenna sighed. Will I be able to walk? Right now, no way. And in the future? Besides, you have to. Who will look after your mother if not you, I say. She sent you? She didn't send me. She asked me. Are you going to bring me to her? Don't you want to rest a little first? No, I am sick of laying around. Bring Jenna to the Tula camp. How are you feeling? I asked when we were out of the city. Jenna didn't answer me. He was lost in his own thoughts, unpleasant ones. Judging by his grimace, I sighed. You should be thrilled to be alive and thanking your lucky stars. You had every chance of dying back there. That bastard already back at the camp. What are you talking about? Vanya? Yeah, he came back. Why are you calling him a jerk? Because this is all his fault. His fault? Care to share a little more detail? Jenna grimaced. Alright. In that apartment, we found a crate full of booze. Anya said we should celebrate. What was I supposed to do? My mom doesn't let me drink. You refused? Jenna looked at me like I was crazy. Of course not, and she won't find out. So we drank, we hung out, then we started looking at other apartments in the building. They were all locked. Then Vanya remembered that the kitchen wall in the first apartment was all cracked. He said we could make a hole and crawl through it into the apartment next door. He took a sledgehammer from storeroom and started hitting the wall. Okay, you couldn't come up with anything better than that. Jenna continued. The wall held, but the ceiling started crumbling. I yelled at Vanya to stop, but he just kept hitting the wall over and over, like a psycho. I tried to take the sledgehammer, but he punched me and he kept battering the wall. Jenna squirmed. So the ceiling caved in, I was on the floor in agony, couldn't see anything, couldn't even breathe through the dust. When I recovered a little, I noticed that Vanya was gone, along with our backpacks. And then there was a crashing noise on the stairs. The whole building was shaking. I thought I was done for, so that's what happened. What do you have to say to that? I have a couple of options here to reply to Vanya. The way I see it, you're both at fault. You shouldn't be drinking during an expedition. If you'd been sober, breaking through the wall wouldn't have seemed like such a bright idea. That was the first option. The second option is, and what's Vanya's crime? He thought you were a goner. Anybody in the place could have gone, no. I think I'm gonna go with 3. Vanya shouldn't have abandoned you. He acted like the worst kind of jerk. That's it. Jenna nodded sullenly. He didn't even check on me. And it was his idea in the first place to break through the wall. Told him it would end badly. We had entered the patch of fog. It became harder to make our way across the rough terrain, so the conversation was dropped. When Jenna saw the lights of the camp in the distance, he subtly asked to stop. What is it? I asked, nonplussed. I thought you wanted to go home. Home will still be waiting for me after I've done this. Do me a favor. Run off into the grove and go along the path. There'll be a meadow after about 100 meters. What are you planning? I'll tell you when we get there. Come on, you don't mind, do you? Intrigued, I didn't argue. 5 minutes later, we emerged in a small meadow covered with fine dry grass. There was a pile of embers at the edge of the meadow, next to a fallen pine. We're here. Now tell me straight, what are we doing here? Help me get out. Get out? Feel like going for a stroll all of a sudden? I've got a better idea. I'll take you to your mother, and after that, you can walk around all you want. No, you don't understand. When they see me in the camp, it will be too late. Frowned. What will be too late? Jenna thought for a while, and then gruffly asked me, "Can I borrow a gun?" I scoffed. A gun? What do you need a gun for? You can either tell me what you have planned, or I'm taking to Nadezhda right now, and you can work the rest on your own. You have to help me. I don't owe you anything. That's it. I'm done. We're going back to the camp. Jenna grabbed my arm. Fine, I'll tell you. The thing is, there is somebody I want to talk to. Right here, without any witnesses. And with who? With Vanya. Vanya's not here. Vanya's at the camp. This is where I need you to help me. You have to go back to the camp and bring Vanya here. Tell him whatever you need to, it doesn't matter. When he's here, we'll talk, without witnesses. You know what? I'm not going to be your errand boy. Deal with this Vanya on your own. We're going to the camp. End of story. That's the first option. The second option is to say, alright, let's say I'm willing to help you. How would I do it? Now, this boy is obviously out for blood. Now, my character doesn't really care. He only wants to find where his family is. But at the same time, he does sympathize with this kid, and having people like Vanya running about, not caring about his friends, it gives me a sour feeling. So we're gonna help him do it. Great, Jenna said eagerly. I'll let you everything you need to know. You leave me here with the gun. What do you need the gun for? For protection. There are wolves in these woods. The irradiated ones are like rabid monsters, and just in case Vanya goes psycho on me. Keep going. I don't like his tone. Jenna continued. Go to the camp, tell Vanya that you saw some elk, ask him to go hunting with you. He loves hunting, so he'll definitely say yes. Bring him here, and we'll talk things out. Settle things for good. The two options again. Fine, you win. I'll see what I can do, but I don't like this at all. Hey, how come you don't want to tell your camp people what really happened here? Vanya will get what's coming to her. I'm gonna say the second one. Are you kidding? Jenna let out a low whistle. You think they'll punish him? They'll hound him with questions again, and he'll just sell them his usual pack of lies. That he didn't know, they didn't drink, that I got hit in the head and I was just hallucinating. He'll get away with it too, mark my words. Two options, got it, but do you really think there's no other options? Jenna, I understand that you want to get your revenge, but you're not going to kill him, are we clear? I'm going to ask him, just say number two. My words enraged him. Stop treating me like a kid. You're just like them, a bone-headed babysitter. The only thing you can think of is to tell me to play nicely. But I understand things just fine. I wasn't born yesterday. You think it's funny that this bastard left me there to die? Is that what you would have done? Don't worry. He didn't even let me respond. I'm not going to kill him. He'll see me with the gun and he'll piss his pants. That'll be enough for me. I don't know, Jenna. I don't know. Hey, you already promised to help me. You gave me your word, so keep it. Jenna thought for a moment and then pointed at a fallen tree. I'm going to wait for him there. Help the kid get into the fallen pine. Alright. I'm going to give him the gun. When Jenna anxiously took the gun from my hands, I got a bad feeling in the pit of my stomach. I shouldn't let this happen. I shouldn't. The kid examined the gun with a kind of sickly, and now this is what I call a gun. But I don't understand. I don't understand why this is necessary. Don't worry. It's just in case, Jenna said, quickly tucking the gun into his belt. He was obviously worried that I would change my mind. Don't shoot yourself accidentally, whatever you do. Don't worry. Vanya showed me how to shoot. He even gave me a few lessons. So get him here. Let's go get Vanya. I tried not to meet anyone's eyes as I made my way to Vanya's house. Didn't want to answer any more questions. Vanya wasn't alone. A half-naked girl was brushing her hair, sitting on the corner of his bed. Vanya was lying under the blanket on his side, sipping liquor from a crystal glass. The girl blushed when I appeared, and she hastily put on a long sweater and left. Vanya didn't even seem to notice that she had left. Did your mother never teach you to knock? Vanya asked, and poured himself another drink. I'm here for a reason. When I was on the way to Novomosk, I saw some elk. Fresh meat wouldn't go amiss, my supplies are running low. Will you give me a hand with the hunt? You go on, Vanya yawned. Look, Drifter, I'm relaxing here. I almost died along with Jenna in Novomosk, and I'm still freaked out by it, so beat it. Let's go with number 3. Let's play along. I asked you here for a reason. I knew you'd change your mind. It's hard to get good booze these days. He retrieved a dusty glass from the nightstand, blew on it, poured some generous splash of liquor into it. He placed a piece of dried perch on a napkin next to the glass. Have you tried this before? Zubrovka? I drank it in moderation. Vanya poured himself another, like my dad used to. You can always get stuff made from rowan berries, but it's not as good without pickles on the side. Vanya sipped the drink and seemed to be thinking. What do you think of Lara, the girl who ran away? At first glance, she's nothing special, but she doesn't put on and act like some people. And I've got options, you know what I mean? But I meant to say to you. Listen while slowly sipping the liquor. After finishing his sordid story recalling his sexual exploits, Vanya set the glass down and settled back against the cushion. Well, should we go hunting now? I asked innocently. If Vanya kept drinking, he'd be well and truly drunk soon. Now? But we're having fun over here, Vanya complained. The elk are getting away while we sit here. The kid became lost in thought. Elk are good. Do you know how to shoot an elk so it goes down instantly? I'm sure you'll show me, I say. Or are you not fit to go hunting? Vanya burped and then retrieved an old shotgun from underneath the bed. Does it matter? The elk won't wait around for me to sober up. As we made our way to the meadow where Jenna was waiting for us, Vanya yammered on and on. He hadn't drunk enough to start slurring his words, but the alcohol was definitely affecting his mental faculties. Because of this, the sight of a shotgun provoked a dull sense of alarm in me. We're headed off for the rabbit meadow, Vanya asked in businesslike way as we were approaching our destination. Weird, I have never seen any big game there in my life. And then there, instead of an elk, he saw Jenna. Vanya froze, gripping his shotgun. Threw me a crazed look. His eyes were slightly glazed from the alcohol. Hey, buddy, Jenna greeted him with deliberate friendliness. Thanks for bringing him, Jenna continued, turning to me. Please leave us alone now. I want to have a heart-to-heart with him. Jenna, you're... Shut up, Jenna snapped, looking at Nancy. Please let us talk in private, he insisted, stressing every word. I hid in the overgrown dark brown ivy that covered the drying, scraggly trunks and branches. We went about 20 meters, waited a short while, then crept silently back to the meadow. I could already make out the snippets of what was being said. Are you kidding me? I was supposed to hang around until I got trapped too? What the hell were you thinking when you were hitting the wall with a sledgehammer? Hey, genius, easy for you to say. Idiot, I almost died back there because of you. I can't walk now. Because of me, it was your idea to poke about it, that damn building. I crawled into the bushes. I was only 10 paces away from 2 arguing boys. Twigs snapped as I moved, but Vanya and Jenna didn't notice anything. They were standing 3 meters apart, both red-faced, agitated, looking like they were about to lunge at one another. Finally, Vanya yelled, "Why don't you just go to hell, huh? That's it, I'm done. Innocent victim, my ass. If I've been trapped in that building, I would have got myself out. What, you don't think so?" Jenna didn't reply. He just clenched his fists. All I see is poor little Jenna running crying home to mommy about how he was almost crushed, hoping she'll wipe his nose for him. Wimp. Say that again. Jenna drew the gun and pointed at Vanya. But Vanya wasn't frightened. He started laughing. Wow, look at this tough guy. Does your mommy know you've got that? She'll put you in timeout. You're a dead man, Jenna murmured. Vanya snorted mockingly and set off back towards camp. I'm gonna come out of the bushes and tell Jenna to put away his weapon. Jenna saw me and flinched. Then he moved the gun from Vanya and pointed at me. Hey, take it easy, a gesture of caution. Don't do anything stupid. Don't stick your nose where it doesn't belong, Jenna hissed. Get out of here while you still can. Vanya turned to me. What are you afraid of? This idiot? He'll never pull the trigger. He doesn't have the guts. I guess we'll see, Jenna replied and pointed the gun at Vanya again. I had a feeling that he was about to do something irreparable. Oh, Lord. All right. Let's see. We got 3 options here. Jenna, don't kill him. Let him go into the wasteland and never return. That will be justice. Second option is Jenna, put the gun down. You can resolve this peacefully. Please, Jenna, don't do this. Let's hand Vanya over to the camp tribunal. He'll be punished for abandoning you. I don't know what to say. Honestly, I don't care. I want him to shoot him. So I'm just gonna say number 1. Are you joking? Vanya looked at me like I was an idiot. The wasteland? I'm not going anywhere. I pulled out my gun. That's the way. You either leave right now or I put a bullet in your brain. I've killed people before. My hand won't shake. And Jenna won't mind, right? Vanya's hands, which were gripping the shotgun, started to shake. He looked between me and Jenna and back again. I'll remember you, Drifter, he gritted out. At last, I'll track you down, and when you go to sleep, I'm going to kill you. Agreed. You say you didn't have time to check if Jenna was alive, but you made sure to grab his backpack with the booze inside it, so just get out of here and don't come back. We're gonna go back with Jenna to the camp. But the end is I not only saved the kid, I stopped him from becoming a murderer. I think I've done everything right here. And what will happen when people realize that Vanya's missing? Jenna asked me on the way. You don't know anything. I don't know anything. Nobody saw us leave together. They'll guess that Vanya went hunting and that the wolves got him. And even if somebody did see us with him, I won't be in the camp by then. Let's finish up this quest. Nadezhda was standing in the doorway to her house. I could tell by her face that she couldn't believe that her son had survived. Only when I had lowered Jenna into the mattress did she fall upon his chest, sobbing. Mom, don't cry. It's okay, Jenna begged, trying to console Nadezhda, but she just cried harder. Jenna looked at me, made a helpless gesture. Looks like I'll have to wait a little longer. I'm sorry. Forgive me, please. I still haven't thanked you. Nadezhda put her hands to her head. When I saw my boy alive, all sense just left me. Don't worry, I said with a smile. I understand. You thought he was... Yes, I thought it, and we all thought it, but Nadezhda brought a handkerchief to her nose. But when you went to get him in the wool mosque, for a second I dared to imagine you bringing him home alive. Just for a second. When I actually saw him alive, I thank you. Thank you. Luckily, I found him quickly. It could have been too late. If I'd been a few hours later, I think he would have died of dehydration. Jenna had a rough time. Let's leave him to sleep in peace, Nadezhda said to me. We went out into the yard. You want me to give you some information, I recall. Ask me your questions. Go ahead. Yes, I wanted to find out what happened to your husband. What happened to Andre? Nadezhda's expression shifted. What is it that you want to know? Nadezhda, you see, I'm trying to find out the truth about what happened back then. The epidemic, the nuclear war. She says, I don't understand what you mean. How could Andre be involved in that? He died long before the epidemic broke out. Dead? He was executed by a firing squad. Nadezhda closed her eyes. It was obvious that the memories still caused her great pain. They charged him with treason, found him guilty, and they killed him. Can you tell me more about this? I'm afraid I can't. I don't know any more details. It was all classified. Investigations, the trial. I wasn't even allowed to see Andre. I know he was arrested at the institute where he worked. I received a letter from the investigator. It said that Andre had been arrested and he was charged with collaboration with the USA. The trial was in a week's time. It was closed hearing. The investigative committee wouldn't even allow family members to be present. I traveled to Moscow, tried to get in to see the investigator, but he refused to speak to me. He just said that the case was cut and dried, that there were witnesses and evidences, and your husband, he said, cut a deal with the West. He handed over important information. Nadezhda let out a sob. At first, I didn't believe it, but Andrei had changed recently. He stopped coming home on the weekends, and he never talked about his work. He never picked up the phone, and if I called him in the evening... You don't know anything more, I say? No, that's about it. You know, there was something else I didn't want to know. It's like a bolt from the blue. My Andrei, a traitor to the motherland. I couldn't get over it, but my only concern was that Jenna never found out. You don't happen to have anything written by your husband? Notebooks, maybe diaries? We had nothing like that at home. His room in Moscow? I don't know. The KGB turned the apartment upside down. They took everything they could, and after I heard that when Moscow was bombed, a fire broke out. The whole district burned. Enough, I said. Deshna was waiting for my next question, but I just stood there, stunned. I certainly had learned something new. But what now? Where should I go? What should I look for? Even if something in the apartment had been missed by the KGB, it would have been lost in the fire that followed. Was I going to have to go back and search the Institute of Virology again? Deshna, you don't happen to remember the investigator's last name, do you? Investigator's surname? No, I'm sorry, I don't remember. Maybe you know something about your husband's colleagues? Well, I know Gregory Nestorov. He was basically the head of their lab. A good man. He invited us to his house for tea when I went to Moscow to visit Andrei. I saw Shashkov a couple of times too. And this Shashkov, what do you know about him? I know his first name, Leonid. He and Andrei were old friends from school, but he never visited our home. I saw him at Andrei's birthday party, and then we went to his home once. But it wasn't this, it was his sister's Larissa. Do you remember where Shashkov's sisters live? In Oriol? It was a new housing development. I'll give you the address. I don't know why I remember it. Well, thanks. I suppose I have to go to Oriol now. Safe travels then. Narishda said, smiling at me. Thank you for helping an old woman. Jenna is the only good thing I have left in this life, and you brought him back to me, even though I never thought I'd see my son alive again. You're a good man. I believe that everything is going to work out for you. Thank you for your kind words and your help. Oh wait, I have something for you. Desha ran into the house and returned quickly. Here, take it. It's worth nothing compared to my son's life, but I hope you'll find it useful. She gave me a flashlight. Thank you. Goodbye. Alright boys, and with that, I think it's the perfect time for me to end this episode. Thank you again for watching. I do appreciate it. And make sure to like, share, and subscribe, guys. It's been a rough journey, a long journey, and this episode is extremely long for your entertainment. So I hope you enjoyed it. Catch you next time.